Hey Western, I'm Lexie Misterski, and today I'm going to be sitting down and interviewing your USC presidential candidates. Let's see what they have to say. I'm here with USC presidential candidate Victoria Baruso, and I'm here with Keenen Q, Matt Reeser, Aleesha Rehill. We're going to start with a couple questions about your platform. So first of all, why did you decide to run for USC president?
So I personally decided to run just because I feel like there's a lot of problems on campus and there's not enough action, just because it seems like there's like this USC bubble and like a lot of students are out of touch with the USC, or the USC is out of touch with a lot of students, and that there's things such as mental health, which is a priority for a lot of students, and the USC has been busy focused on other aspects. And so for me, that's a huge reason, as well as diversity and representation has been lacking.
In my past experience working as orientation coordinator, I got to be in London and work with the USC executives all summer and really got to see their roles, and it was really exciting to learn from the inside. But then as I moved off campus after living in residence for 3 years, I really began to see the disconnect that students have with the USC, and I really also just want to make sure that students know that they have more options in their presidential candidates. But really also just want to see some change on campus, especially after the racism incidents last semester. Just really want people to know that there are people who will fight for them, and it's been a while since I haven't seen a woman run, so that's really exciting, and I think a woman of color is also a really exciting stance to look at from.
For me, it was because I remember being in first year and never having imagined this as a possibility, and I remember seeing who is in power and only seeing that as there's only the one type of person that could be there. And I go, you know what, that's unfortunately not who I see myself as. Kind of throughout my time at Western, I ended up finding my way into like the orientation program and seeing that, my leadership style, albeit different, is just as effective, if not, in my opinion, exactly what the USC needs moving forward, in the sense of having a human and having someone who just genuinely wants to speak to students and generally just care. And so I think that's, for me, it was something that came out of a lot of thought and a lot of introspection, and and realizing the fact that I am here for the right reasons, and it's not just to check off a box, but it's something that I feel like I can bring something unique to.
When I started following USC elections in first year, I was repeatedly frustrated to only see men running, and I always said to myself, I made myself a little promise, and I said if there was no female president by the time I was in fourth year and it was my turn to run, then I would do it. Moving through faculty council and the USC and getting to know a little bit more about how the USC works and seeing actually what it can do for students made me really motivated to want to be in this role, because I feel like it really has the capacity to make a lot of change.
Our next question is, what do you think sets you apart from your opponents?
My approachability, because I think it's one of those things that's a bit of an intangible. I think it's something that I do bring that just is kind of intrinsic to who I am, and it's just my genuine care for people and loving hearing people's stories and hearing about their days. And I think that's been lacking in some senses in the USC, that it's become a little bit too rigid and a little bit too formal. But for me, a lot of it does come down to people want a human. They want to see a student and someone that they can empathize with at the head of this organization, and showing that, yeah, I'm still, and in terms of the word student leader, still a student, but also happen to be the leader and the person who executes.
My tangible experiences that I have, just because I've been in a role very similar to the one that we're all running for now, at the faculty level, I've managed an executive team, I've supported them in their portfolios. Our council is over 58 people, so it's very comparable to the USC, and I think I have done as much as I possibly could to prepare myself for this role and really understand what I'm getting myself into. And I've talked to a lot of students and come up with a really comprehensive platform, and I think that's what sets me apart.
I'm sort of removed from that USC bubble. I'm not a soph. I haven't been involved with the USC, and so I'm someone who's in third year, someone who's a bit younger than the other candidates, and who's ready to take on the charge and fight for students, because I know that after my term, if I were to be elected as president, I would still have to be at Western for another 2 years, and so I would want to see the change that I've done and hold myself accountable.
I think what's really important for me and is just very clear is what my priority is as a president. I think in the 1 year term that we have, there's only so much change that we can make. So I think it's really important that we pick something as a candidate that we say, this is what is important to me or I'm holding near and dear to my heart. And for me, that's equity and inclusion. And I think that's what sets me apart from my other candidates is that's my priority, especially being from a brown background. I've definitely experienced different things on campus than I think many other students have. So I think that's what sets me apart is that I'm not just sympathizing with students, but I'm genuinely empathizing with situations and things that they're going through because I've been through a few of them myself.
So what part of your platform are you most excited to implement, and how are you going to see that through?
So the 7th pillar of my platform is recognition, and I'm really excited to be able to work with student groups on campus and really highlight what they've been doing that I think has been under wraps for a long time. I think there are so many different students that are doing so much to contribute to our campus community, and nobody knows about a lot of it. I'm probably the most excited to get to show the rest of campus what different groups of students are doing because it's really incredible.
I think for me, what I'm really excited about is the strategic plan renewal. I'm really excited for that because we get to look at the next 4 years on our campus and really think critically about bigger changes. I think it's one thing to put, those realistic things that you'll get done on your platform. But with the strategic plan, you have the opportunity to think so big and think big picture. And I really do want to see dramatic change on our campus in 4 years. I really want students to feel more included. I want community to be built. I really want students to understand what it means to go to Western, Huron, Brescia, Kings, and feel so proud of that. But I think a lot of students are leaving here being like, I never found my niche. I never found what I vibed with at Western. So I want students to see that they're connected to our campus, and I really think thinking big picture about changes we need to see and drafting that up and putting it on paper is so powerful and will set the next 4 years up for success.
The sustainability aspects of it. From our debate last night, just minutes before, one of my team actually found my Facebook page for me running for Prime Minister when I was 13. And it had a post about me saying, I'm not trying to put up posters because I'm trying to not make waste. Nearly 10 years later, and I'm still fighting that same fight that 13-year-old Matt wanted to do as well. In terms of seeing it through, I think we've done a lot of research, and I've reached out to a lot of really plugged in people within these realms, as well as I've dedicated a lot of my studies here at Western to environmental policy. It's a tangible way that I can actually execute what I've learned about and what I've talked to my friends about. So I'm extremely excited for that aspect, that I can make genuine change.
I'd say I'm most excited to implement the supporting students aspect just because it involves so many different communities on campus, whether that's having a Greek life coordinator or a multi-faith coordinator, or doing things such as the halal and kosher microwaves, a host of things in my supporting students, which is the S in my SMART platform of the SMART.
Amazing. Awesome. So this one's a bit of a tough one, but in 3 words, what does best student experience mean to you?
I would say inclusive, I'll say safe, and I don't know, we'll say welcoming.
Community, fun, well-being.
I would say development, support, community building.
Unique, personal, where it still feels like it's for you, exciting.
Polls are opening at 8 a.m. on February 3rd and closing at 8 p.m. on the 4th. There'll be voter stations all over campus as well as voting online, so make sure you come out and vote for your candidate. If you like what you saw, be sure to check out any of our other videos. And as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Catch you later, Western.